good evening and welcome to the Nighttime Heat right here on a Prime FM 105.5. This program is also being relayed by Radio Gagama, that is in Makani, Radio Kwatika in Bonk, and of course, Radio Wulugisi and Lufakani. We are also streaming live on our Facebook page, that is the Nighttime Heat Facebook page. Just maybe you want to watch a live online, just tap Nighttime Heat, and then you're going to watch the show, and you also share the show. We expect that you will share this edition of the program. We are also streaming live on our YouTube channel. Again, just tap Nighttime Heat. After you've done so, you subscribe, and then you hit the notification bell. You're going to go live, and of course, going to enjoy the show online. We are also streaming live on a Prom FM Moravia 105.5. Again, Prom FM Moravia 105.5. We wanted to share tonight's show because it promises to be very intriguing tonight. Well, Sabo George is my name. I'm here along with my producers. I'm still expecting my panelist, George Kennedy. You will shortly walk in. I just received a call from Moses Sandy that you will not be able to attend today's program due to some heavy workload. However, I wanted to share tonight's show because it promises to be very, very interesting. Let me just acquaint you with some of what will be coming up tonight. I'm sure you're quite aware that His Excellency Joseph Yuma Boakai late this afternoon, he issued a directive. And what is that directive? For government officials, public officials, that's a mandatory directive for public officials to issue to ensure that they comply with property taxes. It means that if you do have properties, you need to begin paying taxes. If you didn't pay for some time, you have to pay have to do back pay because that is something that the president has directed. We'll be reading that press statement, and of course, we talk about that between 8 to 8:30. And then when my guests come, I'm sure you heard the Minister of Finance today, Augustine Pehi Gafu, and of course, he was on a mission. That mission is referred to as unraveling mission. He was trying to unravel some of the things that we didn't know about the economy, the state of affairs, the situation at the University of Liberia, the GSU audit. He unraveled a lot of important revelations. We'll be looking at that when my guests come. We're going to do a critical analysis of the minister's appearance today. And I'm sure you're also quite aware that His Excellency, President Joseph Imaboka, is off to the U.S. He has gone along with some government officials to attend the United Nations General Assembly and also some the first Liberian Diaspora Conference. You'll be attending that as well. We'll talk about that. What sort of dividend can that bring for our country, Liberia? What we are now as a people, as a country, what we want is dividends. We just don't want visitation or traveling. We want something coming back. And like we heard the minister today talking about the outcome from Japan. So those are things that we want. Also, we'll be talking about the president over the weekend appointed. His name is Samuel Steve Quia as the new Minister of State, replacing our fallen Minister of State Sylvester Grisby, my own older man, a very good friend of mine. So Steve Quia has now become the new Minister of State. Who is Steve Quia? My guest now will be talking about that. And what sort of probity did he bring? We'll also talk about that. Well, that's the shape of tonight's nighttime heat. I'm hoping that you are glued to your radio or glued to your phone so that either you watch online, just tap it in the nighttime heat and then you can watch on your Facebook or your YouTube. Like I said, George Kennedy, was trying to walk in, and so let me just welcome him. He just took a seat comfortably without anybody ushering him to the studio. George, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Sobo. Thank you. It's wonderful being here again. I want to say thanks to our audiences, different group of people.
Yeah.
I also want to say thanks to our Liberian people and to our wonderful technicians. And to you as well for this great show.
Yes, thank you. And how was the weekend, George?
It was wonderful. I slept sound. I'm okay. I have some time now to move around because, as I was telling you, I'm on leave.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I'm a bit free now. I slept fine today.
Okay, yeah. That's good. That's good. That is basically what, I expect, that you have, a good weekend, with the family.
Yeah.
And, likewise myself, the weekend was very great. We slept, we, had some good meal, and then we got prepared for the week activities. But let me try to get this out quickly. Before you came, I was trying to just talk about some of the major issues we'll be talking about tonight. I know we'll talk about the Gafuan's press radio appearance today. Let me put it that way.
Yeah.
He was there for 2 hours, and of course, I call that a mission, an unraveling mission, because we was trying to unravel a couple of things that we didn't know. In fact, when I heard concerning the University of Liberia, I said, "Wow!" And then people were just trying to beat on Gafuan, the minister, for nothing. But finally, he was able to unearth some of what we didn't know. Even the GSC report. We'll talk about that when our guests come. I know the guests, some of them will have their own independent versions, and so we'll be talking about that. But let me try to read this. Let me try to upload this, George, and read late this afternoon. His Excellency Joseph Yuma Boyka. Let me read this directive quickly. President Boyka issues directive mandating property tax compliance for all public officials. President Joseph Yuma Boyka, in an executive mansion press release, stressed out that President Joseph Yuma Boyka has issued a presidential directive requiring all appointed public officials, directors, and mid-level managers to immediately settle their outstanding real property tax obligations in line with the National Code of Conduct and the Liberia Revenue Code. The directive emphasizes that all officials must, according to the reports, it said all officials of government should pay their outstanding property taxes for privately owned properties. They should settle tax obligation for fiscal year 2025, clear arrears from prior years, or entered into binding payment agreements with the Liberia Revenue Authority, the LRA. They should obtain and submit a valid tax clearance certificate within 60 days, 2 months. In compliance with the directive from the President Joseph M. Boyka gives an ultimatum that the deadline for full compliance is October 31, 2025. The LRA, in collaboration with the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning, the Civil Service Agency, CSE, and the Bureau of State Enterprises will oversee verification and enforcement. Failure to comply will constitute a violation of the National Code of Conduct and the Revenue Code, attracting penalties, including interest charges, salary deductions, withholding of benefits, and other sanctions as prescribed by law. President Walker further encouraged members of the legislature and judiciary to demonstrate equal accountability by ensuring their assets are free of encumbrances, including unpaid taxes, and by submitting their tax clearance certificate through their respective secretariat. This measure is necessary to promote fiscal accountability, transparency, and revenue integrity across the government, President Walker declared. Now, you listen to what I just read. What's your takeaway?
It's good. I mean, you cannot be in government holding positions of trust. Then you don't tax compliance. They think real estate tax, people are just afraid. It's not that much in Liberia.
Mm-hmm.
If you check, because I know the rate is 0.25%. If you say 0.25%, it will be around 0.0025.
Mm-hmm.
You multiply it by the cost of your property.
Mm-hmm.
People, like for example, someone who owns $50,000 value property in Liberia, real property, every year you pay $125. Okay. Somebody who owns around $150,000, every year you pay around $375 in tax. Let me assume that you've been renting those properties.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you see how much you pay, how much you generate, how much you pay for those properties. People should be responsible. I support that. I think he who comes with equity must come with clean hands. You are government, you pushing to collect revenues from private sector, other people, but you government officials don't want to pay a fair share of taxes in terms of the properties you own. I don't think it's correct. So the president now, I think we are beginning to do the right thing. And also, when you are tax compliance, you got the moral standings to tell other people to pay the tax. And that will also help to increase government's revenue base. It's good.
Well, I think I agree with you. I'm trying to connect, but I agree with you. I think the directive by the president, it's welcoming. It's something that we all should embrace. You can be an official, a public official, and unfortunately, you try to evade the taxes. It wouldn't help the country to develop, to grow. But this is where I have my but. How honest, because the president also indicated in what I read that if he didn't pay years back, you should be able to make those arrears available as well. You can even make a payment plan, maybe with the LRA or with the Ministry of Finance. But how honest do you think some of our officials will be? How honest would they be to present what they have in totality? Because let's assume George Kennedy has maybe a land that he has not developed. He has a house. It's possible that George could come up and say, "Well, I think I'm only going to pay on the house that I have and not the land." So how effective would this be in terms of monitoring and collecting? How effective would that be? Because that's my my concern. Because we live in a country where some of our people are not honest at all. We have to be we have to call spade a spade. Somebody will come out and say, "Well, I'm not going to I do have only one property. Some of them could have two, three properties, that they have not even paid on for years. How honest would they be, to come forth? So I'm looking at the effectiveness, just not the directive being made by the president, but how effective the LRA, the MFDP, and the rest of the other. What sort of mechanism are they going to use to get the government officials be honest with them to come up with the properties and taxes as well?
They have several tools to use. Number one, asset declaration. You see, if you see this kind of thing coming out, it means that the government has studied the asset declaration, the form that we all filled at the time. And government has seen it. If the government also has information on the real estate census.
Okay.
And once you do the real estate census, actually you can be able to know ownership of those properties. You will meet people leasing or renting in the houses, but most of them will tell you who owns them. And those property owners can be reached in most time. If at all the LRA, the Real Estate Tax Division of the LRA or whatsoever, can really be effective, they can be able to track most of those people. Most, it may not be it may not be all for them, the BO to get lots and lots of revenue from there. And when it comes to the bylaw of debt, that is where I think negotiations can come in, because I know that a lot of people default when the tax regime is weak. Most of the people don't easily walk. People always run away from paying taxes all over the world. So when the opportunity comes, when the windows come for them to escape, they usually escape to default. But if that time comes where Liberia will see our own system, I think if you walk strictly to LRA, you say, look, it's true, I have not been paying over time. But right now I have the revenue constraint. Can we negotiate where we can come to this, where I can clear one time or what? So I know there's a room there to do that, so that you can start afresh.
Yeah, we're hoping that there's a room to do that, because we just don't. We are concerned as to how effective would that be, whether it's going to yield the sort of results, because I'm sure it's intended to also put more money in the government's coffer. Because if people are going to pay their taxes on their properties, the government, the revenue will also increase, and government going to raise some revenue. But again,
and there's a benefit there for you, the property owner. If you are tax compliant, and whenever, for example, there are issues with your property, the government usually come in.
Okay.
For example, probably your property is somewhere that maybe government wants. They can look at all of those things. If you are tax compliant, if your property is well registered, if the actual value was declared. Mind you, Mr. George, I heard the other day that all these buildings that we have, if once we go through the rightful procedure,
Mr. Kuti wants to chip in, but in the meantime, just hold the line. I know you want
once
to wait.
Once we go through the rightful procedure to get those buildings constructed, those documents can be at the central bank.
Okay.
So anytime government ready for eminent domain, the value of that property, they will pay you according to the fair market value today.
Okay.
So you see, so all those in the tax compliance is very, very important.
Okay, let us see what Cody wants to talk about. This what does he want to say? Yeah, Cody, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Let me first of all apologize to you for the disappointment for the second time.
Okay.
There are some unforeseen circumstances here that will that will make me not to be able to appear this evening. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Thank you. But I want you to please put me on Wednesday. I will definitely be with you, please.
Dave, is that the reason why you called?
No.
Okay, yeah, go ahead quickly now. Go ahead. That's what we can talk behind the scene here. Go ahead.
Okay, sorry about that. Okay. Now, I think it is only wicked people who do not really pay taxes, especially those who have the hand. Now, I became the highest taxpayer in Liberia in 2017, July 1. I was honored at the City Hall, the Monrovia City Hall on July 1, 2017. Now, how much money do I have so much? No. I was not in government when I was honored. In fact, I was the first person who was ever honored as a domestic taxpayer. That was the first time they started honoring people. Orange was the first for for GSM companies, they took the first place. And EcoBank won for commercial banks, they took the first place. And I was the only one.
Okay.
Became, for domestic properties. Now, like Mr. Kennedy mentioned, they think it's very small. It's just that people want to be wicked, especially government. Yes. My place is declared for $500,000. Now, how much do I pay every year? $1,250. That's it. You can imagine that.
$1,250 US.
US, yeah. Okay. That's my tax. You have a property declared for. The only thing is that sometimes, like Mr. Kennedy said, you have to be fair with the government.
Yeah, you gotta be honest here.
It might become a problem for you, because if there's a time where the government wants to use your place, you have to go through this, deal with them for some kind of an eminent domain issue.
Okay.
Because if the government wants it, you just have to negotiate. Now, if you under-declare, you have built a house for $25,000. You say my house is $5,000. What is your business? The LRA will always receive your tax of $5,000.
Okay.
We'll do the calculation. But then, if there's a time the government wants to use that particular area, and you have been under-declared, my friend, what you have declared with the LRA and the taxes you've been paying is what the government going to go back to pay for your place.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Cody. Thank you. So the issue is, we're just hoping that our people will be honest, to come forth with their their properties, so that they can pay the taxes on those properties, because the directive by the president is good, and like I said, we embrace it. It's basically intended to display the accountability and transparency,
sure.
And also to put some monies in the government's coffer. We'll be talking about that when our guests come in to talk about some of the things that the Minister of Finance said today. We need more monies, and like something he said. Some of the requests people make outside the budget, close to 60-some million. And can they find that money? So we need adequate funds. We need taxes to be paid. So hoping that our government officials, you all who were appointed by the president, you're trying to be honest to your pay on your properties. We know some of you guys, your pay on your properties is quite necessary, or else we'll come here and begin talking about some of you who will not want to comply. Please comply, or else you're going to feel the presidential weight.
I was sitting with one RRA, a tax guy from RRA, and I'm sorry I can't call the name because we're just talking casually. And the person was telling me, when it comes to real estate, one of the group of people that already pay their real estate taxes, the people who own properties and living in America.
Can you imagine?
He said, you were telling me, my man, the people can pay. He said most of them, he didn't say all, he said most of them pay their taxes.
Okay.
So I don't know, it's a scene today, because that's about a year ago when we were talking, a year or two ago when we were talking.
Okay.
I hope that's the truth. If it is true, I ask that others join them. If it is not true, I ask that let them pay, because it's good for the country.
Okay, so you're listening to the Nighttime Heat. We wanted to share tonight's show. It promises to be very interesting. Tonight, when our guest join us, we'll be talking about the radio appearance of the Minister of Finance and Development Planning. The Gospel Gafuan today appeared on the state broadcaster, and that was relayed by a couple of stations. Widely listened to. He made some revelations. He talked about some of the issues about the economy, the progress being made by the government. He spoke about all of those things. And of course, the Wahala at the University of Liberia, he spoke about that. The GSC audit report, he spoke about that. The state of the progress they are making. So we'll be looking at that when our guests join us. And also tonight, the president has departed. He's in the U.S. He should be, and of course, I'm sure by tomorrow, the president should be. He has gone to attend the United Nations General Assembly, and of course, also the president and his delegation will be attending the first Liberia Diaspora Conference. So it means that the president is going to spend more time, and we're hoping that there'll be some dividends. So when our guests come, we'll talk about that as well. And of course, the president appointed Samuel Steve Quia, that's the name, right?
Yeah.
As the Minister of State. We have a new Minister of State Who is he? I know my guest also, and all of us will be trying to look at Steve Quay's character and what sort of probity did he bring to the job. We'll also talk about that. And of course, my guests will include tonight. Let me try to get my list of my guests this evening. Assistant Finance Minister Henry Yonko. He will be our Yonko. He will join a team of panelists. Mr. Jefferson Chessing also will join the panelists. Hoping that Mr. Martin Tukpa can also join. Mr. Tukpa Kokoyize will also join, and of course, Representative Smoke Morba will be talking about what the minister spoke about today. Some of the key things he spoke about, the issue with the university, the compact. The minister also talked about the MCC compact. We'll be talking about that as well as soon as our guest join us. Yes,
Yes, I think it's good. I followed the interview, and though not in totality, but I thought the interview was very good today. It made me to think about something Mr. Sandy and I usually say here about the roles of LBS, about the roles of the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs, and Tourism. Cultural Affairs, because tourism is already out. So, I mean, the minister was technical today. He was combative. I mean, he was well focused today. I thought that some of the missing issues, were discussed today by him. But let the panelists come. Let's see. Let your guests come. Let's see from their own perspective. I know everybody can see things from where they sit.
From their own lenses.
Yeah, you use your own lenses to see. If you're speaking from your political lenses, the public will know. If you're speaking from the independent lenses, people will know. So people will be there to listen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, we're hoping that, again, we wanted to share tonight's show. We are streaming live on our Facebook page. That is the Nighttime Heat Facebook page. Yes, tap Nighttime Heat. And of course, you're going to watch the show online. And we also expect that you're going to share the show so that your friends, your relatives, your loved ones can also follow tonight's edition. We are also streaming live on our YouTube channel. Again, just go on YouTube and you tap Nighttime Heat. As soon as you do that, you're going to subscribe, and then the next thing you do, you hit the notification bell so that anytime the show comes on, you are notified and you're going to follow the show as well. Tonight, we are also streaming live on Prime FM Monrovia 105.5. Again, Prime FM Monrovia 105.5. Our guests are joining us gradually. We're hoping that they all can join us quickly so we can start the ball rolling and talking about issues that are very, very important to our country. Issues concerning the economy. You know, the minister today, the Minister of Finance and Development Planning, Augusto Quay-Higafon, did his radio appearance, and of course, he spoke about a number of things. Told us about some of the progress being made, the issue of the civil servants' salaries. Increment a lot of that. He spoke about that. He spoke about the Wahala at the University of Liberia. University has requested some 500,000 or 250,000 out of one of them to reopen. He spoke about that. He spoke about the MCC compact. So my guests will be coming in very, very shortly so that we can talk about some of the things that the minister has been discussing. You heard today that the president also departed the country.
Yes. He's gone to the UNGA, the UNGA.
Okay.
And he'll be meeting the Liberian diaspora. He'll be addressing the Liberian diaspora conference. He has a diaspora desk at the executive mansion in his office. A desk that has a team there scouting potential Liberians investors, including foreign investors, to come and invest in Liberia. I think empowering that particular group and making sure that particular group become very, very active. You see Liberians now in the U.S., most of them are trying to come back home to build their houses and other things. So it's very important to invest in your own home, because the United States is not It's not your home. It's not your place of nativity. I mean, you come back home, do some businesses here. They've taken over Camp Johnson Road. We want Liberians to take over Waterside. I mean, how to call it, Waterside or Red Light.
Yeah.
We want Liberian businesses registered to take over. We want foreign investment. We want them to collaborate with foreign investors. Partnership with foreign investors to come back to Liberia. I heard that even former Ambassador Dutwan William Mason partnering with some foreign investors coming to take over the Putu Mountain. That's very good. I think if that happens, it's a very good news for Liberia. And, you know, on the flip side, I think also when it comes to the issue of corruption, the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission, in my opinion, they need to be if they need in this budget year, the coming budget year, they need to hire more lawyers because the cases are overwhelming and they delay. We know that investigations and all that. Look at the road fund case.
Yeah,
I mean, stay there. I mean, someone did something allegedly, but others feel that it's very, very vivid. It's true they have to do their due diligence. We are hearing that the meeting, the board of commissioners there, they are meeting, they're coming Friday to come up with final decision on it as to whether they will go to court or they will charge this person formally. And, you know, some of these things, when they delay, look at the MCSS matter, other areas, when they delay too much, sometimes the president end up appointing, you saw what happened to LTA.
Yeah.
President end up appointing new team of staff. Later, the president begin clear. Now, what about the issue of how to call it, LACRA? The same thing with LACRA. I'm told that team is clear, but now there's an acting team there, so they delay in submitting some of those reports. Sometimes they have to come public.
Yeah, sure.
The LACC have to come public to say we've concluded this, these are our fundings, this and that. Not only a website, this and that. So it's necessary. So because I believe that they're doing a good job, but they need to add some speed to what they're doing, so that it will also help to try to encourage more foreign investors to come to the country. Once the legal aspect of the country is well settled, one people can have recourse to justice, to the court. I mean, without any interference is necessary. So we think that when it comes to the issue of the court system, it should be speedy. People should government should invest money there to make sure that cases are fast-tracked, not delayed. It's good for the economy. It's good for investment. It's good for the citizens. It's good for whatever that can follow that particular country.
Okay.
So, yeah.
One of our guests is at the backstage. We'll be joining him very, very shortly. But what did you hear? How much do you know about just this evening, late this afternoon, rather, we heard about the resignation of the assistant minister at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. What did you gather so far?
What I heard, what we call speculation or rumor in the media. I've been hearing about this. I heard two key things. Number one, the first thing I heard was that the assistant minister and the minister were now on good terms. Okay. I heard that there were some issues there. Later, I started hearing, maybe she will be taking an appointment to ECOWAS. So who knows? And, I don't really know the real reason, but there are some people speculating that, she and the minister could not make it because they have some administrative issues that could not agree on. So, I mean, I cannot say clear what really happening, but these are the speculations I've been getting from the ministry.
But I don't want to give credence to the previous one that should be taking
assignment to
ECOWAS. I'm sure if she was going to, if that was the reason why the issue of suspension wouldn't have preceded that. We heard about some suspension and she was suspended. So maybe the second rumor you got concerning the beef between she and the minister proper. Maybe that could have, that might have been a reason for her resignation. But all these things are troubling. We're hoping that they can find a way out to sort things out. She's a young diplomat. I know her very well, a very good friend of us, and to enter the government in less than 2 years, you are slammed with suspension. It's not good for your record, It's not good for your character as well, because you may have ambition somewhere, and so I'm hoping that she can sort that out with some of our people, so that they can do something about that, and not. But let's try to um, welcome. Welcome, Henry. Henry is he's an assistant minister, I'm sure, from the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning. Henry Yankwe. Let's try to welcome him. Our guests are joining us gradually. You will also be able to tell us about some of the things, re-emphasize some of the major points made by the minister today. Tukpa, I understand. Who's Tukpa?
Martin Tukpa.
Who's Tukpa? Koko Yiza. Okay. Let me welcome Mr. Tukpa Koko Yiza. He's just joined us as well. We're hoping that Representative Small Molba can join us because I understand he's trying to make his way. We're hoping that he can join us as well, so we can have this discussion. And Jefferson Chesson, he initially assured us that he was coming on as well. So hoping that you can also join us quickly. But you can welcome our guest quickly. You can take that opportunity.
Oh, okay. Good evening, Honorable Minister. I want to say you are welcome. I'm George Kennedy. I'm one of the panelists here. And you and Mr. Koko Yiza, you are welcome. This is the nighttime heat. We are independent professionals, former journalists, and we are here to balance information relative to what's happening in government, what's happening in the private sector, to ensure that the country gets the best all of us. So you are welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Kennedy, and Mr. Sabah George as well. And we are grateful to be here. We bring you greetings from the Finance Ministry team, Minister Augustine A. Gafuan, and the entire senior management, and deputy ministers, and my colleague assistant ministers. I are doing all they can to ensure our country receive the type of development we need. And I also extend my best greeting to the listening audience. And we can assure you that we serve well on the show. We, by default, we are supporting the minister's position today. We are just here to re-elevate some of the issues he said today. So we are very grateful to be here. And thank you for the work you do for our country.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Yankwe. Let's welcome Koko Yiza. Is he on? Okay, welcome, Mr. Tukpa Koko Yiza. Welcome. Okay, it seems that he has gone off. We're hoping that he can come back on, and then we can welcome him to the program as well. Let's play the first tape that we have. Where the minister was talking about progress made. Let's try to play this tape, and then we can all talk about what the minister so can do a critical analysis.
A couple of online readers. 5 a.m. in the morning. Now, if people don't know that there is progress from Fishtown to Monrovia to our meeting at the Ministry of Finance on the 10th floor, then we need to find a better definition of progress, especially when yesterday people on the same route, they were taking days, and sometimes they would go through Cote d'Ivoire. If you hear Senator Joe Peno, don't hear me. Hear Senator Zopeno. Listen to Senator Yaya Nimle testify about what that road has done, the time. One of the things that affects the economy is high prices. We have the rural areas being places of agricultural production, but because of bad road connectivity, areas that are rich in production do not connect to markets. If roads are done, the marketers, the agriculturalists and others bring their goods and services to market quicker. Inflation has started tapering down. In fact, the latest for July was 7.14% or so. I was talking with the central bank governor the last time. One of the reasons is that domestic food inflation has dropped because, as we speak, the country is connected. Buses can move from here, MTS buses, in the height of the rainy season, drive to Vonjama and drive to Hapa, low price. If people don't recognize that as progress, then they have a definition of progress. Let's move from that. Electricity supply is getting more stable.
You're making reference to what you've normally called constraints, addressing constraints or challenges to growth.
Yes. There are two main constraints. Access to finance is another, but the two main teething constraints to growth: lack of infrastructure, especially road infrastructure, and supply of power. One of the things that eats into the profit of businesses is the high cost of power. When they spend so much money to keep the lights on, it affects business profitability and it makes it difficult for them to expand. You see us emphasizing power expansion. In fact, we are one of 12 countries chosen by the World Bank and the African Development Bank to develop an energy compact. We have a Liberia energy compact. President Boakai led the team. I was part of that delegation to Dar es Salaam this January to go and join other leaders of Africa to talk energy, and the Liberian Energy Compact was presented. In fact, in our discussion, our Liberian room discussion, you saw no less than the World Bank President Ajay Banga and the ADB President now, he's just left, Dr. Adesina, in the Liberian room. We're talking energy. Why is the grand design? To increase energy supply, access to electricity now, from about 33% to 75%. Last season, everyone was in Monrovia, stable electricity. More communities are being supplied with electricity. If that is not progress, let them tell you why it's progress. Now, at the level of the port, night operation has started. Yes, we're waiting for a 24-hour port service, but at least the last time I was driving from work around 10:30, I saw containers leaving the port. It tells you throughput is increasing. What are those things in the container? Things that will be sold. Things are being sold. In the night, there is light in the street. People are in Monrovia selling longer hours help. Their businesses, you can get first shift, second shift. Now, water supply has increased. It's been a long time since I saw muscle men toting containers climbing the Johnson Street Hill. Maybe whether you saw them, or let they tell me, that site, I remember that site. It's been a long time since I saw people with containers at gas stations because price of gasoline has been down and supply has been stable. There's been no shortage in almost 2 years. The price of rice down, stable. I was out of the country. One site that I remember, I remember it vividly, is a site of our women.
Let's end the minister there. But what we heard the minister talking about is the issue of progress that have been made under the leadership of Joseph Yuma Boka. But let's hear from you, Assistant Minister Yankwa. Just give us some more interpretation of what you heard so far. Your takeaway from the minister today.
Okay, so let me start by saying the minister gave an example today that directly referred to me. When he talked about the assistant minister for economic policy who traveled to Southeast and came back the same day and went to work, it is me you're referring to. Sabo and Kennedy, and to our listening audience, I traveled from here on Tuesday of last week, and I have gone to River G to attend a ceremony of a project that has been sponsored by government to build a park or some massacre that took place in somewhere in River G called Wafiken.
Okay.
And I will return back to Monrovia on Thursday of last week. You're on the 4th. Interestingly, I traveled in our same region in 2021, September. And I know what I went through. So if you can drive from that distance, come to Monrovia and go to work on our same day, because I needed to attend the economic management team meeting, which are very important, and we'll do that. The issue is not just traveling by road long distance, come and go to work. The other side about it. But last year, this time, we realized the situation where a 25 kg bag of rice in Sreju was sold for 5,000 LD. Unlike now, it is sold for 3,250 and somewhere around 3,004, depending on the location of Sreju you are. Gasoline is now sold for 850. Unlike last year, it was being sold for 1,005. The only means of transporting gasoline and other petroleum products to the Southeast at this time was by motorbike in gallons. I saw tankers moving in the environment. The next issue is our people most often were being supplied gasoline and other commodities from Ivory Coast using the Kavala River. Now, to convert the Liberian data to CFA created a situation where they were experiencing exchange rate loss, which are also being paid by the consumers. You will realize by last year at this time, our detractors were discussing the issue of the $22 million that are being used by the Ministry of Public Works to ensure that our rules are pliable, while we also make frantic efforts to improve the roads and improve the conditions with actual lateral roads. That 22 million today is reflecting inferior households in the Southeastern region, where you can now move there safely. We're not saying all is not well, that we can show you, as President Boka has instructed us, and with the guardians and of the finance minister, the support of all the other institutions, the Ministry of Public Works, and even you and Liberians that are contributing to all the great. It's through their taxes we are doing all of these development. We can show you that we'll be able to build our roads around our country, primary roads, and that is our commitment. That is the oath we took to be able to do so. There are other issues the minister talked about. Can be mention of even the MCC program. I mean, there are other countries who.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about the MCC program. But let's bring you on the issue of Civil Servant salary. We heard the minister saying that has been normalized. In past time, the credits were done to settle or to pay civil servants. That's not happening now. How do you add up to that?
Of course, so I've worked with the Ministry of Finance since 2013, and I've also been civil servant in other jurisdictions like the MCSS. So I know exactly what civil servant has gone through in this country. Salary now is being normalized to the extent if you even miss a day in a month, it will become an issue because it's been regularized, it's been normalized, and we can show you that we'll continue to pay our people on time. Because you see, when people work and you don't pay them on time, there are other issues that come in. Sometimes they have to go borrow money, and they end up paying interest on those ones. So indirectly you are reducing the salary by delaying that pay. And the other issue you want to note, this government having credited any money from the central bank to pay salary. In fact, we are paying money, like the minister said, that was borrowed by our predecessors for November and December 2023. The 83 million they took from the central bank. We continue to pay that and as well pay our people. So imagine we will have to budget about 15, 16 million in this year budget to pay that. That money will have done so many good things for our country rather than paying back. But they were unable to pay, and that spilled over. We have taken over and we accept that as a responsibility. We took over, we have to settle that, but they are also creating other constraints for us. But yeah, much we have to constrain, we still have to remain committed and do what we can to be able to ensure that we pay our people on time, to be able to ensure that we service our debt, to be able to ensure that we finance those development programs that will benefit our people.
Okay.
Honorable Yankwe, I'm George Kennedy, and this is where I wanted to ask you. I know normally it's not a good idea in a stable economy, if all the economy is stable, for the government to go to the central bank to borrow money. Now, in the past, it was done. You are paying 16 million every year until you can pay this money. Is it a requirement of the IMF, or is it's just the government decided to do it? Is this something that the policy-wise that you have to pay this now?
You know, Mr. Kennedy, the person matter IMF requirement when you take over as an administration, you have to service those debts that were taken by your predecessors. And that's the reason why, and I would say to our listening audience, it's very important to elect people that are responsible enough to be able to manage the resources of your country. Because if they don't, those breading will have to be settled in the future. And because you are settling them for in the future, it will also try to delay some of your progress. That it is not only the 83 billion debt we are paying, we are also servicing other concessional loans that were taken, and they are now mature to be paid against. So, bottom line, IMF, whatsoever have been done by past leadership, whether in the right direction or not, once they were loans that were taken to certify transactions, we have to pay them. We can investigate on how they were used. That is another discussion we were not going through now. But the fact of the matter remains that they took the money as a government at the time. And we elected them. So what they did that on our behalf. If they did the wrong thing, they did the wrong thing on our behalf. If they did the responsible thing, they also did that on our behalf. So we have to take responsibility of that as an administration.
Okay, now let's talk about this whole debate concerning the minimal wage. We understand no civil servant is making less than $150 United States dollars. But there's been critics who believe that that's not true at all. How do you explain this to us so that we understand?
Okay, so the thing about it, let's say when we're doing the analysis to actually identify those that are earning below the minimum wage, we came across somebody, I think in one of the counties in the Southeast, that were earning around $53. So all of these people were taken to the 150 level, and you have to levy taxes against those amounts. So if your gross is 150, because your salary is actually coded in your gross, then you will realize a situation where what you take home will be less than 150. But the government is still committed, and we are looking at our revenue. Once we have our improved domestic revenue, we will as well try to improve on those salaries. We also understand that 150 may not be enough, but at least we can start with the minimum wage when we took over as a responsible administration to say, okay, let's bring everybody on par here. That also affected other professional levels. For example, teachers, doctors, and nurses, and people even in the security sectors. So if, for example, the benchmark for a bachelor degree holder for a registered nurse is 150, we realize that when people may be earning around 250 or 300, they were mismatched. To have to bring them on par with the rest of their colleagues for our first year, then we see now how we can be able to improve on that once we have the favorable fiscal space that can accommodate increment in salary. Mind you, we have a situation where recurrent expenditure and capital expenditure are competing in the same envelope when our revenue base is low. So once we improve on those fundamental development issues, energy, water, roads, we attract more investors, we can raise more revenue and be able to do what we can do. Investors will not invest in your country because they are sorry for you. Investors come to your country because the necessary environment is being created for them to invest in your country and earn profit. If they went to Sierra Leone, Ghana, Gambia, and the environment is being created to do business, they will actually invest in the environments, not in your country. It's not by your wish and your desire for we invest or invest in your country. It's an environment you have created. You have responsible government, good legal system, the infrastructure are available. You find them coming to invest in your country. And that's what we are doing now to address the issue we always cry about, the brand model issue. Because when you open up your country in all of these various sectors, investors are in your country, people get jobs, they can take something to their family, they can provide food, send their children to school, take care of their medical expenses. These are issues we are working on.
So the minimum wage is 150. Sometimes back we used to hear, oh, the minimum wage in Liberia is non-tax. How do you reconcile that with the revenue code? Because you've now pushed the minimum wage to 150.
Yeah.
Why now is that amount being taxed when it is the bare minimum wage in government?
They are
Okay.
annual. So if you find yourself in that, the brackets are different, and that's the reason why we are not paying the same tax, because at that lower level, let me just give an example just off my head. It may not be the figure. So if somebody is earning 150, maybe the person tax is $5, they will take home the amount of 145. But a person who is earning 500 will not pay $5. In that case, you have to pay more than $5. So what we are saying as a government in a
internet.
Yes, go ahead.
At the time, because it was inherited, we had to take a step first to say, okay, what we do, let's bring our people on part first to the legally established salary. Then we can start discussing while we move on. Once our fiscal space is considerably okay to accommodate our people by increasing the salary, we can do so. Then in our case, your disposable income, the money you take home, will be more than 150. But we all have to contribute to our country by paying tax.
Okay. So I asked you this question from the backdrop that since the minimum wage now, since the minimum wage now is going to 150, is there any plan in the future probably to reform or amend the revenue code, especially the aspect that has to do with the tax component, the amount that will be taxed, to say that so that people making the 150 will take the 150 home? Probably. I was just thinking about that.
Those are all discussion on the table, and the issue is not just adjusting the revenue code. The issue is to even pay our people much better than 150. So once we find our fiscal space and the resources are available, we are actually going to do that, and that's the reason why we are working on providing the fundamental infrastructure. We're working on all of these issues that will even or in the better situation to be able to even earn more. We are not satisfied with our people earning 150. Let's be clear about that. The president is not satisfied. If our minister is not satisfied, we all in government are also not okay with that. But we have to work towards a systematic process that will lead us to a place where we have the resources, then we can move there on. But in our first year, should we leave it just blank that way? That people are saying any below 150? The answer is no. Can we make some intervention? Yes, we can make some intervention. We can move them from one point to another. And then as we move on, continue to work and improve the environment, then we can also take another decision.
This issue that has to do with harmonization, is it still being enforced? Or because I think listening to the minister today, he's beat his chest. He said at the judiciary that has been reversed. So what about the other civil servants and others who suffered, the courts? Yeah, just unmute.
On mute.
Unmute.
You
Sorry,
are muted.
I was muted. Yeah, sorry.
That-
I will tell you that modernization is also affecting me. Before moving on to this position, I served as an assistant director. And then harmonization came and reduced my salary further down. What I was earning before harmonization is greater than my salary now as an assistant minister. But we have to work in a space to be able to contribute our quota to the development of our country. So like the minister said, it's a gradual process because when harmonization took place, the information that was being passed out there was that this decision was taken to be able to put more resources into capital expenditure. That wasn't the case. The cost payroll was being bloated by the past government, and they decided to cut people's salary. If you look at the information, the data that are there, when the past government took over, the actual payroll size was 293.2 million. That was the actual execution.
Okay.
That amount was increased to 302.9 million. So if you do the math, we are talking about 9.7 million that were added to the payroll. So that wasn't okay for us. There was some pressure from the IMF program, and they saying that the IMF said go and do harmonization. No, the IMF said go and restructure your budget. And somebody decided that the way to do it is to cut salary. I know we economists were in a room at some point in time and we said, okay, we get advanced policy measures. We ought to raise more revenue. Don't touch the post salary, some auto balloons. But then the guy said their government was not a clever government. So they were not looking at A student decisions or A student advance. They went ahead to cut salaries. To be called a payroll bloated. Now when they cut salary, we still saw the payroll increasing because compared to what it meant in 1920, if you do the math, the payroll was still increased by 4.1 million. So they were struggling with this. Harmonization took place, I think, 2 or 3 times according to salary. So the adjustment is ongoing now. So like the minister said, the judiciary, we are looking there. And if you look at our budget now, besides public administration for the first half of the year, security and rule and law carry the largest portion after public administration. Because if you do not have this environment, if you do not have the legal system working well, nobody's going to trust you to come and invest in your country. You will do everything, but we may end in fiasco. So we are working day and night. And that's the reason why we stay in office late hours. We work overtime to ensure that we can be able to meet our development needs of our people, to ensure that we execute the arrest agenda very well.
Okay, listening to the Nighttime Heat right here on Prime FM 105.5. We are also being relayed by Radio Gegeman, Radio Kwatiken, and of course, our Radio Wodagisi. We are streaming live on Prime FM 105. Prime FM Radio 105.5. We are also streaming live on our Facebook page. That's the Nighttime Heat Facebook page, and also streaming live on our Nighttime Heat YouTube channel. Now, let's try to hear from the minister, and then we hear from you also as to what is it that the minister was talking about. It seems that some of our other guests are finding it difficult to come on via internet. It's giving a problem. But let's hear the minister on the MCC compact. Let's play that tape quickly.
I came from there, going fully aware that as we work on these things, they get actualized. Our country will benefit hugely. But it's just me. The agriculture minister can come and give you all that he did. What was happening is that many of us were in our private lanes. As finance minister, I was engaging. Minister of Education engaging. Every other person was engaging. I'm just giving you my side of the story.
Minister, any updates from the MCC compact?
Yes, thank you for that. The MCC informed us through a communication written to me by the IT in Africa director, Mr. Jason Small, that the decision on Liberia's eligibility, Liberia was declared eligible before in December 2024. Then there was a transition in government, U.S. government. And the first thing that happened, you all know about it, was the cancellation, scrapping of USAID. As we speak, out of 29 projects, only 5 USAID projects, or only 5 projects on a new modality that were being funded by USAID are still ongoing. Many persons expected that the sky will have collapsed on us because USAID is, by that time, was Liberia's second largest donor, next to the World Bank. USAID was the principal donor in health and education, and to some extent agriculture. But we've managed, as I told you before, that we'll face turbulence. But good pilots will sail the aircraft to destination in spite of turbulence. So it's been bumpy, but we have largely kept ourselves on course. So MCC was not cancelled like USAID. It was put on pause for review by the State Department under Secretary Rubio. And so they've been doing review. And I can tell you that many countries' combat operation or engagement in MCC have been cancelled. Liberia's eligibility is still under consideration. They've told us that by December, the board of MCC will meet. Now, last Wednesday, I had a 1-hour Zoom discussion, me and my team, with the MCC folks, the authorities. They've decided on the 22nd of this month, September, MCC is feeding a team to Liberia, a team of officials and economists. Some of them will be here for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. They are going to working with our team of economists. They're going to meet many folks in government and out of government. They are going to put together to identify sectors that can benefit from possible MCC support or quick growth and constraints analysis will be done. Before Liberia was
Okay, so let's hear from you again. This whole MCC Compact story, it's been misunderstood and misrepresented. In some quarters, you hear people saying, well, the government will not benefit from the compact anymore. In fact, we have not reached the eligibility. Some say, because there are key areas that we have not been able to achieve yet, and so we're not going to get the money. You see why the MCC people took us all the way to December? It's because they want to drag us. So there's lots of misinterpretation and misrepresentation. How do you explain further on what the minister has just said?
Someone we know there will be people who try to take us off track, but we are not going to follow that reading. The truth of the matter is there are countries who compact arrangement has already been cancelled. But in the case of Liberia, we are still eligible.
Please, 1 minute, Mr. Minister, 1 minute. Martin, welcome to the program. It seems to still have.
We are getting feedback from you, Martin.
Okay, let me welcome Mr. Tugba. Okay, so let's hear from you quickly, Mr. Minister. You had in speech.
Yeah, so as I was saying, we are very much grateful. Why would the MCC want to send a team to Liberia to come and their economists, their senior official to sit with us to discuss issues and look at the possibility? Because while we were having the discussion with the MCC, there were changing administration from the USA, and then that even led to the USA programs being somehow restricted. Though we still have 5 USA sponsor programs that are running, but with team we are well on course with the MCC arrangement, and our team of economists are prepared to work with them. We have had engagement with them. They have focus pricing as well as we to Administration of Finance already have focus pricing, and we are doing all we can to receive them by the 22nd of September. And there are a lot of details we need to work on. We made a very good submission for which they are motivated to be able to come to Liberia to see whether they can stay invest in our energy program, to see whether they can stay invest in our road programs. And let me just say this to our listening audience and to you, the panelists here. If you are a trusted government and people see what you yourself are doing, the efforts you are making, they get more encouraged to find a way how they can help you out. Except if you are difficult in executing their own programs, then people become skeptical in how they can support you. So I think the government is well on course, and we are very positive that we'll be able to secure the support from the USA through the MCC Compact program. What we can say to you now is the issue of the size of the programs, because we are now with different administration. They will have to come, we sit with them, they look at all the intervention we want to make, do their own analysis and say, look, this is what we see we can do, and this is how we think we can help you. I think this is the path we are on, and we will encourage all Liberians, whether you're in opposition or not, to encourage these activities, to be with us in this path, because we have to work as a country. When we come to the issue of political activities, we can go to that. When it comes to the issue of showcasing our government, showcasing our country, we have to work as a team to do so. This is a time that we encourage all Liberians, those in government, outside government, to somebody like you to work with us to ensure that we can support our country in every aspect of our developmental program.
So we are expecting the team to come. Let's assume. Okay, you say in October. When
by the 22nd of September, that team will be here.
Okay.
This month.
Now, so when the team comes and the meeting is held, discussions, everything are held behind closed door. How soon do you think? Because there are some individuals, some critics who, some rabble-rousers who believe that we're not going to get any compact at all. We're not going to be eligible. We're not going to get any resources coming to the country from the MCC.
So if the Americans are not interested in you, what is fomenting them to come to your country at this time? They want to issue why he's saying for another December, because it is that time they had a board meeting.
Okay.
And they will have to discuss all of the issues. They will need information at the level of the board to be able to discuss your country issues. So that team will come and work along with the economists you have in Liberia here. After that discussion and all of the findings they have, and their visit, all the information that we gather, they will report now to the board. And then by December, the board now is empowered enough to make.
You're listening to the Nighttime Heat, right here on Prime FM 105.5. Some of our guests are finding it difficult to join as a result of the internet problem. But let me welcome Mr. Kogo Yiza. He just joined us. Welcome to the program. Kindly unmute, Mr. Kogo Yiza. Kindly unmute. Welcome to the program. Mr. Kogo Yiza, welcome to the program on mute. Welcome to the program. Well, it's that this internet still giving him problem. You're listening to the Nighttime Heat, and of course, right here we're talking about we're trying to do some discussions on Minister Gafuan's appearance today. We have Assistant Minister from the Ministry of Finance, Mr. Henry Yankwe. He's our guest here, trying to make us understand some of the things the minister spoke about. He's on the program tonight, along with us. Some of our guests are finding it difficult to join us due to their internet facility. system is not that strong, and so they are finding it difficult. I know we'll be opening the lines, but I want to talk about first the UL Wahala, and the minister spoke about that today, and so I'm sure Mr. Yankwe also will be making us to understand as to what's happening at the University of Liberia. After which, I'm sure I will open the lines for you. After the GEC audit as well, we'll open the lines for you. But you can share the show again. Just share the show on join our platform, our online platform. That's the Nighttime Heat. Just step Nighttime Heat, and then of course we're going to be live on the program. You're going to watch this program live on our YouTube and our Facebook channel. Also, we are streaming live on Prom FM 105 Morovia 105.5. Again, Prom FM Morovia 105.5. We want you to share the show so that your friends, your relatives, your loved ones, they all can be in tune, and they all can also follow on what's happening tonight. We're trying to get our guests back. His internet has gone off. We're hoping that we can get him back quickly so as to continue with the discussions and then reach the finalities of it. But you've been listening to the guests. What this whole MCC compact thing? It's taking quite a long time. It's dragging, in a word.
It's true, and it is dragging because of the change of administration, the new policy in the U.S. But I see hope. The truth is, I'm told that Ghana, some other countries have been dropped from this compact, and what the minister said today, and what the Assistant Minister Yankwe is affirming, is that had the U.S. government wanted to drop Liberia, they weren't going to think about sending delegation here this month. So that's what's giving us hope that indeed we are on course to be accepted. And I love what both of them say. They're not calling monetary amount because they don't know
the
size, what the board will say.
Okay.
But I want to ask them to be ambitious, to be very, very pointed with the projects that they want to show to the compact team, to the MCC team. I know that most of them already know what's happening here, and let them be strong enough to tell them the Liberia needs to stand by. We need energy, we need roads, we need investment in our agri sector. If we say, okay, we can invest in our agri sector, but we can invest in roads, infrastructure, we can invest in energy, we can build new hydro. It will help readily supply electricity across the country and cut down the cost of electricity in the country. That alone will support investment in the country, and it will be very good. So
now the issue. Okay, I think I understand that he's back. The Assistant Minister from the Ministry of Finance, Minister Henry Yankwe, is back. Mr. Minister, welcome again to the program. Welcome back. But we're on the MCC compact story. There are individuals who think that it's good that you are not putting any figure to it, because some said 5 million, some said 300 million, some said 500 million.
500 million.
So, but why are you being careful in trying to put a figure to that when initially this government ran with 500 million? We saw that on social media.
So, Soba and Kennedy, and our listening audience, you have to understand the issue of the transition that took place in administration in the U.S. Now you have a new administration that will have to review everything again. So that's the reason why it is interesting that they sent a team to Liberia. Perhaps, if you are saying, for example, 500 million, perhaps what they want to do that is underestimated. You may not even know. So it is just not appropriate at this time to add any figure to this. The best thing you want to do is to work with the team that will come. Let the city of us have the discussion, do assessment if necessary, and then after that, they get to that board meeting. There are discussions that will continue to happen while they are even out of yet. Before they can come, we are already interacting, and they are gathering that information already. So then at that point, they can be able to determine what the actual amount will be like. Take for instance, you inherited maybe a project from your father. You're building a house, and you want to redesign a house. Obviously, the budget you had will no longer be the same budget that you will use to redesign a particular house. Either you want to, maybe you want 2 rooms and you want a 3, maybe you want more rooms, and that will determine on the amount you will need at that time to use. So when you change administrations, people come with their own objective. There are different programs, so it also affect even grants and things that are given out by these development partners.
Okay. Okay, let's try to hear also the minister proper on the issue of the University of Liberia. Let's try to upload that tape to hear what's happening, what's the real story from the university.
Activity. Minister, is the University of Liberia finding it difficult to get the allotment? And if so, why is the university finding it difficult?
Before I launch into answering your question, let me tell you my multiple links with the university. I was a student leader, elected student leader at the university. That's one link. Secondly, I was a lecturer at the university. Well, when I became finance minister, it got so difficult for me to continue. I have many of my students around. They can testify. Also, I was secretary of the board of the university from 2006 to 2019. So when you talk about the university, I have multiple things.
Are you insinuating that the university is dear to your heart?
More than dear to my heart.
And then why are they finding it difficult?
With your hostess. Let me be clear, and people listen well. The university's budget. Now, last year, contrary to insinuations that were put out by folks who wouldn't even attempt to ask, the university got almost 100% of their budget. The university budget was, I think,
last year,
2024. Last year, you heard, oh, we deprived the university. The university budget was about, what the legislature approved for last year was, sorry, I think, 33, it was 33, yes, it was 33.7.
33.7.
Yeah. Yeah.
This budget is what?
Yeah, it's about 34 million.
Okay.
Now,
so
last year's budget, only 16,000 of the university budget that the university didn't get. 16,000 in budgeting. It is rare for someone to get 99% of their budget. A lot of reasons. Many entities will hardly get 100% of the budget. To even get 90, because there are a lot of issues, there are a lot of challenges, when it comes to getting the allotment, going through procurement or whatever. Because we gave the university lump sum, we've been on time, and I'm very clear with my people. Make sure that university gets its budget. Now, this year they have almost 34 million. We are on time. The university is one institution that we make sure that they get their allotment and their payment on time. So, contrary to impressions that are being put out there, that, we're not giving the university their budget. The university budget was approved by the legislature. Let me say this. LBS, you have subsidy. In the budget, you were approved by the legislature. Ministry of Commerce, the budget has more than 100 entities approved by the legislature. What the university is requesting is beyond what is in their budget. The impression that the Senate was put under was a bad impression, a false impression. And I could sense should I say, the heated sentiment from some of the senators, because they thought that the university's budget was not being given to them. And so that was a wrong impression given to the Senate. But in fact, I will forgive, the new president in transition to write the Senate's standing committee head asking for approval of immediate allocation to the university. That's not a responsibility of the Senate.
So was the letter misdirected?
Well, that's your terminology.
Should the letter be written to...
But let me tell you what happened, which makes what that letter... I don't want to tell you how we feel at the Ministry of Finance. We engaged the university. We agreed that we'll meet the senior management of the university during the weekend. Even before OFA laid down their charts, we had agreed. So we met the university, the president and her vice presidents. Acting vice president for fiscal affairs, Lester Tenney was there. The vice president for academic affairs, Dr. Englund Reeves, and I think vice president for administration, Bernard Otal. We met for almost 5 hours at the Ministry of Finance.
That was before this letter was
Before this letter was written.
Okay.
5 hours talking university. I should have gone to a funeral of one of my staffers. I did not. My Saturday, I invested my Saturday to the university. We talked. And we are not too happy with some things at the university. I'm going to take some things. We're going to take some high measures. In fact, we are going to re-verify. Take this. We are going to re-verify everyone on the university payroll for the month of September. We pay, of the 34 million we pay as a government, 32 million goes for salaries. And some actions that should have been taken earlier to sanitize that payroll system have been delayed. And we were ensured that there will be no delay.
Okay, let's end there. Let's end there. I think
access to electricity now.
Let's end there. We've got the cross off what's happening at the university. Yeah, Mr. Minister, again, Minister Yankwe, Assistant Minister. This has been the whole drama. Before your boss came up, the picture has been your boss, who has been a product of the university, what's happening to strangulate the operations of the university until we've heard today what we heard. How do you add to what the minister said, and how do they get across to all of you who are at the Ministry of Finance, especially with communication from the new president being misdirected or wrongly directed? How did they get to all of you?
But Sabo and Kennedy, to our listening audience, I'm also a product of the University of Liberia. So many of us here are product of the UL. I completed 4 programs at our university, and is that alma mater we cannot joke with. And I also lecture at some point in time at the university. And we hold it so dearly to our hearts. Like the minister said, we need to revisit the university. We need to encourage the administration to revisit our school. I'll give you one example. When we were in school, you had 2-3 vice presidents. Today, the UL, I'm told, got somewhere around 10 vice presidents. Are those things necessary? Of the 34 million the minister talked about for the UL in this year's budget, 32 million of that goes towards compensation. That's almost 100% of the entire money they receive. And let's say this, we do not have superfluous resources, endless resources. There are other institutions, there are other universities around the country. Let us be reminded that we are running a public policy that will issue here called free tuition policy. The university administration needs to relook at that. I can be corrected on this one. I'm not sure whether aliens and foreigners are even restricted. Anybody can, you go to school free. You remain in school at any point in time. Just stay in school maybe for 10, 15 years. You are in school. You have to have some level of restriction on the number of credits you carry and a GPA you must score. Then that way we have people that will go to school, study well, graduate on time. We'll not be spending more resources on few people. We have to look at all the issues. That's my personal suggestions. That's not a Ministry of Finance position on the euro issue. I'm revisiting it. I want to be clear on that note. Because some of the issues we look at when we issue policy, yeah, it's good. I know in other countries, free tuition is only restricted at the primary and secondary level.
The internet again. You're listening to the Nighttime Heat. So right on.
That will ensure that, So these are all issues. I'm told the GSC should be doing an audit. Maybe you have already started. We encourage that type of exercise. Issued about the university RGF, what they are getting internally generated fund, need to identify what resources are available and bring all the resources on the table. Then we as the central government can be able. I agree with you that people need to be educated. We say that and how to be educated, we have to provide our means. If you never had a University of Liberia, some of only have been educated because that's the school we went to. Even if we went out there to have our further studies, we started our education at the level of the University of Liberia. There are so many Liberians that are not having the resources to go to private school. They will have to go to government-owned institutions. We must support them. We support a free tuition policy, but we need to really look at it to see how we can strengthen it more, that it become more beneficial to our people.
Now, Mr. Minister, the thing is, the impression was being built that or created that the Ministry of Finance was strangulating the university. When you had already given the university its budget, and which 32 million of that goes towards salaries. Now, how did it, again, I'm asking the question, how did it come to all of you? What sort of mind did they create, especially when the university authorities supposed to be dealing with you? Rather, they sent a letter to the national legislature that you were not giving them their share of the national cake.
The issue that will come to our mind why it is happening, because that is abnormal in budgeting process where almost the resources go towards that. And these are some of the highest resources the university is getting is history. So we need to look at student-teacher ratio to even determine whether we have instructor having their actual load, whether we need the number of staff we have. Who are those in administration? Instead of people are parting payroll. All of these things are hypotheses that are coming up, and to verify that you need some investigation. Do we have more people than we need, or is it that the university got more students as compared to the number of teachers? These are all questions that are on the table that we need to investigate.
Okay, so we understand that from the minister, the amount being requested currently by the university is something beyond its budget, and we understand that money will be. So you're going to spend outside the budget again.
So these are issues we have to address. Now, the university authority wrote the Senate. We know the House is currently on break. Okay, so even if it is Senate, if it is the upper house that have the authority to approve, so then that wait when they come back, they approve, and we have urgent need at the university, which we have to address. So these are national emergency issues you have to address time to time. And sometimes we want to see them as people are stealing money because they're spending money outside the original budget process. The budget is a law, it's been prepared to protect our state. and we need to do that. But if we have emergency issues, we have to look at the expediency in taking that decision to ensure it happens. Our people will not remain seated home. The students can be home, and then we are waiting maybe to do a new budget that will take effect in January before we open school. We know logically that it's not something to do. So we have to take decision as administration to ensure we protect the interest of our people, the interest of the state. They have to go to school. Because if we want to go by all the issues, then we wait, we effect that amount into the new budget, and then it take effect in January. Now, if the budget delay for any reason that it's not passing January, maybe that will also delay. Now you're talking about around February, maybe before you open school. We don't want to see that happening because there are people in the U.S. that are eager to go to school. It's their right to go to school. You have to do that. So we have to find a way to solve this problem. It can be treated in one fashion.
So you know what? You know what? You prefer to violate the law than to have the university not being given its share of or whatever it is.
I don't want to use a word. I don't want to use a word by calling it violation of the law. I would call it prudent budgetary decisions because that's the reason why we got to sit on the table, bring all the stakeholders in. Maybe we can call some of the committees from the House that are responsible for issues that have to do with the budget. Then that becomes some level of fast-tracking legal process that can help us to solve this problem. Because if tomorrow morning the students are on the street demonstrating, you may want to blame them for their actions, and it is their right to go to school. They are part of the state. They must benefit from the state resources. We were in school. We too took action as students when we know when we thought our right was being infringed upon. So then we wait to get to the street. They are causing other issues before we call them to the table. So I think we need to take decision to divert that. And that is a latent conflict, a conflict that is lying down, sleeping, and waiting for a maturity date to take effect. So I don't think that's what you want, because if we have this place destabilized, you and I only have the opportunity to have this show. That's not what we want. So it cannot be a violation of the law, but it can be a prudent budget decision.
So I've always said it. That's something I wanted to say, right? Mr. Minister, I know you are product of the University of Liberia, as you said. Even the Minister of Proper Aids, and he was one time a student leader. He benefited from this cheap school for quality, cheap school fees for quality education. It's true. But I feel that these conditions don't exist today. I've always made this proposal, and this is what I think that people should look at. Tertiary education is very expensive across the world. Not many countries you can see people getting the free that we are doing in Liberia. Some of us been proposing that the $5 US per credit or its equivalent, the University of Liberia to pay 105 US dollars for 21 credit is still the cheapest across the world. But it could be a lot of money that could help finance the university's own internal investment. I think maybe, I don't know how the government will look at it, to look at universities as a free school for the poor country, third world country, is very tough. It's not something easy. So for us, in my opinion, I thought that this is something that the government and stakeholders should look at. In the future. It may not be this time, but it could be like, look at it for the future.
I strongly agree with you. There's the reason why before you take any public policy decision, you have to study it well. Look at all the intricacies, and then that way. But I think there was a hasty decision, and not being political when there were some issues around credibility around here, and somebody tried to maybe sway away the public mind, and they would say, okay, they go on your campaign and announce a policy where there was no policy instrument, no document to actually show or indicate how the policy will be executed. Announce that. Now the stringent issue is our people see it as a blessing for them. So now that you want to call it off, it becomes another issue again we have to deal with. But if we have some minimum fees people are paying, You can be able to run a university effectively, because it is not just the UL alone. You have all these county universities that are coming up, and they all should be treated the same. You can't treat one institution different from the other, because they are all state-owned universities. Now they will have their all in the county. So what do we do in this case? I think we have to have some stakeholder engagement, involve even the students in the process, and let it to see that need, that reason to say, okay, we can contribute this to be able to ensure that our school run effectively. We can only appeal to them at this time to see reason, and let us be objective about this to see how we can take a decision that they get the best education they need.
Okay. Okay. Let's try to play this final tip quickly. That's not the final, but this tip that has to do with the GSC audit. It's been flagging or creating a lot of concerns. Let's try to play this tip quickly.
Let's come according to the elephant in the room. The report, the GSC report. Before I come to the specific highlights in the report that talks about the 2.8 million that the General Auditing Commission didn't see adequate documentation to validate.
I will work myself from in the morning to sometimes 12 p.m. My mother will call me for days she cannot get me. Working for my country, honestly, diligently. And some people, because of their, their venom or their misunderstanding, some of them will sit in one corner calling you criminal, some with criminal credentials. It's very painful. So I said, should I come back? But you know the reason why I decided to accept? Because as this issue was coming, should he take the job here and there? There were talk shows going around this country. And then my folks on the ground were giving me stuff. And something moved me. A friend of mine works in Granji there. And he listened to a local talk show. Almost 90% of the people said he should come back. And I said to myself, I'm coming back for those people. And talk shows were going all around. That, in spite of this distraction, I am coming to use whatever God has given me, working with colleagues under the guidance of the president, to help to develop this country. When I was Minister of Finance, it was under me that the Fishtown Harbour Highway started. And the ADB folks, the guys that started it, when I was with them, they even reminded me, the other guy brought a picture that they took with me at the Ministry of Finance. So I look at what we can do to make sure that in few years, under President Buckeye, as we were saying, that the road will move from here to Harper. That's what brought me here. I started the Banga Menikoma Highway. I went to Kuwait when we had achieved 4.6 billion debt cancellation. Met the Kuwaitis. Which project? I put forth that project under the instruction of the president and former vice president then and now president. We got the first 2.8 million for the feasibility study. That road hasn't been completed. What brought me here is to make sure that Banga Menikoma Highway is completed. I could go on and on. When I say the ministerial complex that we all go to, I signed the agreement with the Chinese, the Chinese ambassador, President Salih is behind. $60 million grant for that facility. Monrovia, Buchanan, with the World Bank. Monrovia, Banga, to the Guinea border. And I know, working with colleagues, what we can do more. And the common people want that. That's why I came. So there will be distractions, right? And I am a Christian. If you go to, I think, Matthew, 14, verse, if I'm not mistaken, verse, 29 to 30 something, you'll read a story about Peter and Jesus. When they were on the high seas, when Jesus left and started to walk on water, You know, Peter looked and said, oh, you know, Master, can I come? Jesus said, come. Peter started walking to Jesus, and he was walking on water. But then he started to get worried about the wind and the wave. And what happened? He started to sink. In that interaction with Jesus, that is the story of a success. Keep him focused. So the distraction, the lies, they will not distract me. I'm focused on how we can get the road to happen, how we can do this. So, coming to your stuff.
Yeah, and I want to be specific about this audit report. I mean, when I say it was an elephant in the room, the auditor general called me yesterday and said, "Oh, I've had to," I said, because this is the big deal of the audit report. But let me say it. I mean, this is what the GSC says as its observation. During the audit, we observed from our sample of payment vouchers.
This is the 2nd year of the regime. So for 2024, I was Minister of Finance for 3 months, I think 14 days. We started 2024 with, I call him my predecessor, you know, good friend, Samuel Doutoue, was Minister of Finance for a good part of January 2024. So he was the first Minister of Finance for 2024. And then Boema Kamara took it up to July 2024, 2nd. And there was an acting Minister of Finance, Anthony Myers. He had it from July up to the 16th when he turned over to me. So we're talking about 4 persons. 4 persons. Now, this is not to say that anything egregiously wrong happened. Let me say this. I was talking about explaining audit. So, the audit transactions are taking place now here, right? LBS. The auditor could come to audit LBS 2025 reports in maybe 2026 or 2027 or maybe 2028. What would they depend on? They would say that, you know, the accountant or the report says that Vafle Kamara was giving maybe, let's say 2,000 for a workshop. Vafle Kamara for some workshop, you know, broadcasters workshop. Okay. And so the auditors will come and say, okay, you said that, let's see the document. Then your controller will go wherever you can keep document, trying to find stuff, right? Now, when the GSC doesn't find all the documents, nobody said a lack of adequate documentation. Yeah. They didn't say no documentation. So when the controller and others cannot give them all the documents or what they consider adequate, they will flag it. They will flag it.
Okay.
But that doesn't.
Okay, I think that we have the assistant minister. You also help us to understand basically where was the minister driving. This whole issue with the 2.8 million, the minister was trying to draw some analogy and all of that, but where was he driving? That that money was unaccounted for, or was it that there was no sufficient documents? Where was he driving?
So, but before even he can answer one of these first clarifications, Minister, is there a fiscal audit, or is it just expenditure line from the Ministry of Finance own budget? That's the first clarification, sir.
So I only know exactly when you say fiscal audit or the Ministry of Finance own budget is the entire government execution that was being audited. So that is the entire government fiscal audit. The Ministry of Finance will manage the entire government resources.
Yeah.
I know the Ministry of Finance own budget is also a component of that, but then you have to look at it holistically when the GSC comes to conduct an audit. In auditing, the minister said that that different type of reports or opinions, not report. You have the unqualified, the qualified, the advert, and the disclaimer. So in this case, the GSC is saying qualified opinion, qualified audit opinion. That in itself tells you the report. I mean, is at its best. Yeah, is at its maximum. Well, these are the issues. To say that you have insufficient documents for the 2.8 million, it does not necessarily mean those institutions did not receive the 2.8 million. That's one aspect of it. So those documents, some may not even be with the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning, because they will be disbursed to line ministry and agencies that will have to execute and report to us. And because of the same issue the minister raised about issue of ARCA, which we need to improve on, something he started since 2011, and then that process got cracked in the middle of the years, and then we will have to read that will get on course to be able to properly document our reports. Now, he also called on the LACC to conduct a forensic investigation so that we find out what actually happened. But like he quoted Matthew, and I'm also a Christian, and I know the first thing Peter did, he doubted whether it was even Christ who was on the water. Or you will say, Lord, if it is you, right? Tell me to come to you, to the water. So he doubted that it was his Lord that was even walking on the water. So before getting there, and his Lord would tell him, come. Now he walking there and still harboring that fear. That's the reason why he started singing. When I am afraid, we have to explain to our people what has happened. And that is the reason why we are committed to auditing even ourselves year on year. We're not going to leave our transactions unaudited. And let me just say this to our listening public. I will be very careful how we interpret an issue. When you even decide to do the right thing in this type of environment, people get angry at times. You listen to the promo on OKFM, this guy who complained that they are now fixing the road. And for him, when cars get stuck in the mud and he worked to take it out, he will earn like 20,000 a day. That pleases him. He is not, he is concerned about that. So he is not okay if you are fixing the road. He has an issue with that. So even in your quest to do the right thing, people still get angry. I know people are still missing government and want to come back, but there was no money stolen. We can assure our people and will deliver well. Honorable Gafua and the team at the Ministry of Finance, we are committed to doing the right thing. Anytime you go around, President Bouaka, he will tell you, do what you can, don't steal anybody's money. Minister Gafua will tell you that the deputy ministers there will guide us in that direction. And we as assistant ministers are also focused. I mean, and that's all we can do for now. We join the minister to call on the LACC to do that forensic investigation, that we can know actually what happened. And at the same time, we'll also encourage ourselves to ensure we can lay hands on any of these documents and make them available. And we'll also improve on our process as we go on. At the end of 2025 budget year, we will invite the GAC to conduct another audit so that we can investigate ourselves, so that we can know what we are doing, so that we can inform our people how we are spending state resources. We'll do that.
So, Sabo, I think just to add to what, not that I'm speaking for them, but because I understand the subject a bit. So I've said it here the other time on the show when I said I wanted to know if there are fiscal audits. I know the fiscal audit and the performance report from all the spending ministries and agencies. They do it and send to the Ministry of Finance. The Ministry of Finance compile them and send them to GAC for audit. Now, it can more one time, way in the Bible when Honorable Molu was Auditor General, he said, Honorable Gafua stole 5 million. You know, so that's the time Attorney Sai was Minister of Finance when he brought that as a broad argument. At that time, I was in the press. Okay. So we all try to correct the information on the streets. The same thing. So it's not like probably that the revenue or the Ministry of Finance alone that was audited for its own component of the budget that the fund is. No, it's a performance report from all the ministries and agencies. So probably some of those ministries will have defaulted in submitting their documents the right time, or probably they didn't do it at all. And looking at the documents that these people receive, probably that document left out. That's why the GSC was very careful in the auditor's opinion, in what they said about that document. So I think it's good to clarify for the public good on this matter.
So, Mr. Assistant Minister, I listened to your boss, and then also you just repeated that. Is it troubling you guys at the Ministry of Finance, for which you are calling on the LACC to investigate? What is it that you want to prove here? Yes, please unmute.
Unmute.
Okay, we are not in trouble, as you would say it. I mean, but the reality is, whenever information already out there, if our information out there or not, we're supposed to do our report. We're supposed to encourage the LACC to investigate those reports and clear them. That is good, even for our own namesake, for our own administration. So we are not in trouble about that, but it's a normal thing to do in administration. You want to adequately inform the public. You want to get the public to a place where they can trust their leaders. They can trust the leadership of the state. Because once we trust ourselves, and if it is clear enough, we provide enough information, our people will trust what we do. That way, they can even contribute by paying their taxes on time, because they show very well that when they pay those taxes, it will be applied in the right manner. So it's a good thing to do. It also shows a responsible image of our country. International partners are also observing us as we perform on our own stage. So it's a good reason to do all necessary things to ensure that you are financially healthy in your execution.
Okay. So finally, before we just open the lines for a few minutes, what is saying that all of you work very late at the ministry, working up to 11 o'clock. Is it a political meeting that people can be holding, or what kind of meeting is that?
The minister we have now, when you have the ambition to contest in 2017, you resign as the Minister of Foreign Affairs far ahead of time, so that your work will not interfere with political activities. Someone and Kenan in our listening audience, the work we do here, we have to work overtime. Like President Baka will always say, we have to start everything new. The Manaseli administration is way too far to use as a foundation, and it just the recent administration, their performance is not too good to use as a foundation. So, because the audit report for 2023 is being referred to as an average audit report, that's the opinion of the auditors. It's in GSC, so it means it was not a good one at all. So, I mean, that's what we can say for now, and I'm very sure we will do all we can to deliver for our people, and we are also interested in doing the right thing. We will, like I said earlier on, we will expose ourselves to be audited. We'll do that.
Okay. All right. Let's try to take a few calls quickly, and then we'll close up. 0778-460-793. Again, 0778-460-793. Or better still, 0886-540-987. Again, 0886-540-987. 0778-460-793. The first caller. Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. George.
Yes, sir. Let's hear from you.
My name is Prince Weir. I'm calling from a comfort zone on 24th Street.
Okay.
Yeah, firstly, I want to thank the minister for his brilliant presentation. I think he spoke to the issue at bay, and he lengthily dived into the finance minister presentation today, and I want to thank him for that. But again, going beyond just what is in the public, I think the government needs to trash out some internal wrangling that is going on within the cycle. 2029 is very far, and we are noticing that key elements in the government are already forming political saga for 2029. So they are doing everything possible to ensure that key actors in the government character are brought down and defamed, which is unacceptable and is wrong. The finance minister has put out a team, strategic team, that is forging ahead our economy, paying our teachers, our doctors, our nurses on time. And I think the government needs to wrap around this finance minister and ensure that his dream and aspiration for the country, for the good of the country, is achieved, instead of them fighting over political aspiration and political goal for 2029 that is very still far. So I want to say hats off to the minister, and I want to encourage him to continue the good work. He's a very good friend of mine. In fact, I have known him since his teaching role at MCSS. He taught me and a lot of other young people.
Okay.
And as a matter of fact, we even honor him on August 31st. We honor him for an outstanding commitment, he has made to the student community and to this society and our country at large.
Okay.
So I want to encourage him to continue the good work, and hands up to the team at the ministry that the focus is political chicanery, is political game going on, and we understand the political tactics that is ongoing right now in our political landscape.
Okay, well, what are politics for now? We'll have to talk about that. But in the meantime, let me try to again announce the number 0778 460 We got no more years, I think about three years plus for politics. Well, why would people be talking about 2029 now? And they're trying to politicize and even concord against other people. 0778 460 Good evening. Hello.
Evening to our dynamic assistant minister, Minister Disa Yankwe.
Okay.
This is Senator Sumo calling, to be precise, from Johnsonville. Let me first of all say a big thank you to you, the host for this show, that our people continue to get informed on issues affecting our government. And to the minister, he spoke eloquently well concerning similar statement made by the minister, the proper minister this morning, on all the issues, all the sector he has spoken about, our road sector and other stuff. So we just want to say to the team at the MFDP, they should keep the eye on the ball and do not lose track. There are detractors. People are using other media institutions to sway the mind of our people against the government. But I think our team is doing exceedingly well. And what we can hope for is by the 22nd of this month, we'll be very grateful and welcoming to our guests that will be coming from the MCC delegation. So we just want to encourage the minister, continue to do well, and you are excellent well this evening. Thank you so much.
Many thanks. 0778 460 That's the number to call. Again, 0778 460 or better still, 0886 540 987. 0778 460 That's the number to call, and you are live on the nighttime heat tonight. 0778 460 That's the number to call at 10:15. We'll be shut it down. 0778 460 That's the number to call, and you are live on the program tonight. Again, 0778 460 or better still, 0886 540 987. Yes.
Oh, thank you. The callers, as we gather from the few callers that call, the minister has done extremely well.
Let's play the tibia quickly. Let's play this tibia. I know. I just keep my mind the tape with the minister being very, very dramatic, trying to respond to a man who consider himself a talk show host. Let's try to upload the tape quickly to play and hear from one of his lieutenants as to what are they thinking about. Let's try to play the tape quickly.
the other time you were dealing with it. So I'm the new guy to deal with. He sees me as Minister of Finance and we're projecting, we're pushing. He knows that I'm rectilinearly focused on success. And so when you zoom on me, you think you break the number 5, then you break the government. So I've done something for him. He goes, his talk show is huge. It's becoming like a tabloid. Because I usually say, and I was telling Jahim and others, report, all I want is balance. Because we do not claim perfection. There are issues that we must work on in this government. And we must be, and you guys, at Fourth Estate, you guys should hold our feet to the fire. But when someone refuses to see light, and every day, I don't know, I may be wrong. There was a groundbreaking ceremony at the last week for the start of the overpass bridge, the construction. I did check whether that was highlighted or even discussed. Find all the positives here. The man goes and says that we're going backward, this or hell. I say that we're going forward. So I don't know him personally. So he hates that. He had gone 1 week saying that I lied about minimum wage. 150. He even have a video. He said I lied. I didn't call his name. I called you. You were at a press conference. I proved to you that I did not lie. If I did not lie, by inference, you can end it. You can end it. So it was immediately after that press conference when I proved that I explained it. He sent me the text.
You said it.
He sent me the text.
Did you do a screenshot of that?
Yeah. It's here. It will take me some.
And also,
I will send it to you.
Yeah,
must see it.
I have to.
Okay.
And then.
Let's end on that. The calls are still coming. Let me take this caller quickly. Good evening.
Yes.
Let's hear from you quickly.
Okay. There is Edward OSCP calling from Pinsville.
Okay.
Yes, I have been following the minister, and I just want to thank him for his brilliant display of knowledge. This is why we need competent people to serve in such a position. The Ministry of Finance is not just an ordinary ministry. He ably supported what the minister said today, and it was just unique that you people were able to host him tonight to further inform the public on what the minister tried to send across today. And Minister Nyankwe did exactly what any competent young man would do in such a position, because the information he is providing tonight is not just ordinary. I would even suggest that the Ministry of Finance, with on a monthly basis or maybe quarterly basis, set such a program that will update the Liberian when it comes to information surrounding our finance or finances as a country, because there will be a lot of myth going out there, and the public, our public, we all know that to some extent we grab information when it is spread out there. So I would just suggest to the ministry that they have a program maybe after 1 or 2 months, that they will come and tell us exactly what is unfolding in our economy.
Okay.
That we will not just be swayed away by misinformation out there. So I just want to say, hats up to Minister Nyankwe. He has again proven that he is one of the young men that we look up to in our ministry. So thank you for the time.
Thank you also. Okay, so Mr. Minister, before you go, we wanted to just, you saw the video, the last video we played. Your minister was very, very dramatic and trying to respond to Stanton. Are you all on the hot seat at the ministry or what? And how are you intending to
someone to our listening audience, let me first say thank you to the quarters. And we take the advice of some of the issues they raise here. We come on the show regularly, but we can't be as frequent as those that are working. because we have so many things to do, but we have to find a way to inform our people.
Okay, let me just hold you there and take. Let me hold you there quickly, Mr. Minister, and take David Cody, the last caller, quickly. Dave, let's hear from you.
Thank you very much, and let me say good evening to Minister Yankwai. You know, when I listen to the minister today, as I'm listening to Minister Yankwai this evening, I'm now convinced that this government, this president, Uncle Joe, came to power by divine intervention. God himself played a role. You know, too many good things are happening. And let me say this, Mr. Minister, thank you. You have ably represented your bossman and the ministry in Liberia. No amount of misinformation and lies and deceit will ever take us back to Egypt. We're not going there. We're not going there. We're not going back to Egypt. They are on a campaign. We listen to certain radio stations shamelessly lying every day. You cannot change what God has made. No way. The people are not stupid. The Liberian people are not a bunch of fools that you were lied to. I know of people who were worse than useless for decades in this country. But because they got into government, they have become millionaires today. They stole from us and slept sound. But that's not going to happen again. They will not come back. We're not going back to Egypt. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Okay, so Mr. Minister, you were telling us whether you guys are on the hot seat at the ministry.
We're not on the hot seat, but we will try to do what we can to update our people with information. And I'm also telling you, thank you for inviting us, and our doors are open. We are always waiting to come around. There are a lot of competent people at the Ministry of Finance. In fact, at times you may not see us. We may send some economists. You have other assisting ministers that are here that are highly competent. You want to talk about somebody like Minister Didi Sendima, who has very good experience when it comes to expenditure issues. I mean, I can just name everybody now. But one thing I want to make clear before we leave: to stay in office late hours, we want to be grateful to our family, our wives, our husbands. I mean, they will bear with us to stay there late hours to do government work. The soonest I will go home is around 8 p.m. Many a time we are here in my office and working, because after people leave, you know, as an appointee, people come around, all the noise. You are as in my position as Assistant Minister for Economic Policy, the work I have to do with thinking. You have to sit to put things together. We are the part of the engine that you will not see when the engine is moving. There are other parts in that engine that are functioning well, but you're not seeing them. So we are at the back here. When you see us having roads being built, providing services in the medical areas, just know that there are other people in the background. We are available. We always come. Maybe the next time we come and just focus on the achievement of the AAID. How far we gone with the AAID? Period by period, sector by sector, so that our people will know the work we are doing. Those that are in the high areas, in the soft areas, just to inform them and to ensure that we keep them afloat with what we are doing. To come in this ministry and have political meeting, no. Nobody is going to put vice president, the president, the finance minister at loggerheads. The real issue is the Unity Party has competent people. You can name more than 10, 15, 20 people in the UP that are competent of becoming president. Unlike in the CDC, only one man there. When I made that around, they had nobody. They will have to go and borrow somebody like they did in 2011 to go and borrow a player to go on that team. We will not borrow anybody. But our doors are open. We are inviting people who want to join our party. But our party is not brain drain. We have competent men. In the CDC, yeah, so we are closing now. If I'm in the CDC, I'm Minister Purple. I want to be assistant minister.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for your time. Before we go, let me try to recognize some of our viewers, not all. Silly Kid from Warwick. Thank you very much. Gloria Boyu Plaza, we really appreciate. Said watching from the US. Aliyu Kamara, didn't say from where. Samson Carey from Batnazil Township. Louis W. Zerka from Batnazil, Quebec. Ophelia George from home. Victor Molba from Freeport. Honorable Wilmont Lee McCready, didn't say from where. Augustine Yandomo from Lofu County. Valley Kroman, they listen from where? Moses Mobulu from the USA, Abraham B. Kroman from Dry Res Market, and the rest of you. Let me hear your party comment quickly. George?
When I listened to I saw the last video and listened to the minister in his militant posture responding to Stanton, I thought of his first time as Minister of Finance when during the debt crisis, and at a certain point, how forceful he became. And at that time, I was a journalist covering the Ministry of Finance. So I just want to advise the team, as the minister said, don't get distracted. I mean, what those guys are doing, those guys are not journalists. You want to get a balanced story. You want to deal with professionals. Prime is here. And we came to change the story, the narrative.
Yeah.
We hear from everybody. We put everybody on, give you your side. You give your opinion. The government comes with their opinion. Whatever fights, the public will judge. But for someone, a talk show host, who has that kind of record of lying, cheating, and causing the death of people in the United States, who cannot even leave the country, to be attacking other poor characters, sending them nasty text messages, it's regrettable. It's regrettable. But whatever it is, I think we should go forward as a country. We shouldn't pay attention to such people, as the minister said. That's all I got to say on that.
Yes, yeah. yes. And this is where, again, often I will always like to shift the blame on the government. And the government has the fiduciary responsibility to ensure that the airwaves are used very decently and properly. The government just needs to give the PL that.
Sure, I miss it. Yeah, that's it.
If that happens, I know people like Stanton or others will not be on the airwaves.
I use the airwaves
to abuse the airwaves. But so hoping that this government can see reason. We're hoping that if other government didn't do it, we're hoping that under the leadership of Joseph Boakai, president, we're hoping that he can give the PO that regulatory authority so that we can properly sanitize the airwaves, because the airwaves got lots of individuals who are polluting the airwaves. But until then, join us on Wednesday. Saba George is my name. Moses Sani couldn't join us today. He been swamped with a lot of work at his workplace, but he will join us on Wednesday, I'm sure. Until then, have a pleasant and restful night.